Hi, I'm Lou and I love Trailmaster mini bikes, but I'm not too excited about these fake gas tanks, so today we're going to replace one. The old tank comes off with a 10 millimeter here, here, and on the other side. There's one more hiding under there, so we'll have to take off the seat with a nut under here. Seat, nut. With a little bit of wiggling back and forth, this comes off. Next, we're going to remove the old gas tank, and we'll start by taking off this hose right here to the carburetor and using that to drain the tank. Then take out a bolt there, there, and one right back there, and this whole tank just lifts off. For the rest of the video, I'm switching to this bike in my shop where I had to make new fenders and side plates also, but you can see the bolts are off here, here, and here for the tank. This bike didn't have a fake tank, so we're going to use a real one and eliminate the stock. Under the tank, this part's going to mount under the seat, and up here you need little cushions that go here and then a bar across. We'll start with the bottom part of these 1.5-inch exhaust clamps. I drilled an extra hole in the center of this and then cut the bolt head to a T, and that fits in there. Tighten it down with a nut. Double nut for extra strength on our bumper. These are going to get mounted on here, so we need to check the width inside the tank. Using a roll of tape for my spacer, I can see I'm about a 1/2 inch too wide. Cut a little bit off each bolt for a much better fit. We'll bolt it on the frame, and the tank slides on like this. We have good turning radius up here, but there's a gap here we need to fill in, and I think I'd like to trim this a little bit. I'm also going to bend this down a little bit and extend it to that bolt. Here these are smoothed out, and I drilled those 2 holes so this plate fits here and bolts on there. There shouldn't be any metal to metal contact between your tank and your frame, and it actually is hitting right there. You can see that spot, so I put some extra thick tape which will act as a bumper right there. We'll prime all our parts. I use self-etching primer on the fairings and tank, and paint. There's our tank and side plates all done, and this tank was actually pretty hard to do. I used a 200 grit block and then 400 sandpaper, and then eventually the primer, and then rubbing compound, which is about 1,000 grit, and finally was able to spray with the paint. And also there was dust falling in my shop, so I eventually had to paint and then cover with this box. Thanks for the guidance, Walker. Here's the final install of the painted tank, and you can see I used rivets. You could use screws. And then here I've got rubber washers above and below this plate to reduce vibration. Seat back on. I don't like this gap right here, so I'm going to carve a piece of black packing foam to fit in there. Not absolute perfection, but much better. This white thing is the filter, and this is the shutoff valve, and this whole thing goes right under here. About 1 foot of 1/4 inch fuel line, it goes off of here and down into the carburetor right there. By the way, this is a lockable tank that came with this set of keys. I'm not ready to run this bike yet because I don't have the headlights, brakes, torque converter, muffler, and a few other things done, but when I do, I'll post a link to the video over there. There's the old and new side by side. I'll put a link to my other mini bike videos over there, a link to the tank and parts I used, and my Mini Bike Newbies Facebook group in the description below. Thanks for watching.